The ocean just got weirder and it's making waves in the scientific world. Scientists just recently discovered, kind of on accident, something called dark oxygen right here in an area of the Pacific Ocean called the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, or CCZ for short. And the seafloor is covered in these. These funky charcoal-looking rocks are called polymetallic nodules and are packed with highly valuable metals like manganese and cobalt that are highly sought after by deep-sea mining companies to make batteries for just about every technology. In fact, these nodules are referred to as a battery in a rock. Now it's been discovered that these rocks provide more than just material for batteries. These unassuming rocks produce oxygen without sunlight. It seems almost science fiction, because up until right now, we thought the only oxygen factory here on Earth was photosynthesis via living organisms, that thing plants do with sunlight. The idea that oxygen can come from a non-living mineral in complete darkness is bonkers and completely turns our current understanding of how oxygen is made on its head. But how the heck did scientists even figure this out? Well, back in 2013, Andrew Sweetman, a deep sea ecologist, was measuring how much organisms on the CCZ seafloor, say that 5 times fast, consumed oxygen. And the measurements were odd. The oxygen levels were not falling as expected. Instead, they rose significantly, to the point where Sweetman thought his instruments were broken. And this continued on for the next 5 years. So how the heck are these rocks producing oxygen? They reconstructed the seafloor environment in a lab and then tested the water. And they even took it one step further by poisoning the water with mercury chloride to get rid of any microbes. The oxygen levels still increased. That means that dark oxygen isn't a biological process, it's a geological one, which is beyond not so cool. But that still doesn't answer the question of how this is happening. Okay, remember how I said that these nodules are like a battery in a rock? Well, it looks like the metals in these rocks are acting like natural geobatteries and are potentially splitting seawater into hydrogen and oxygen through a process called seawater electrolysis. It's like that cool science experiment where you drop a battery in salt water and watch the hydrogen and oxygen bubbles, but on a massive seafloor scale. Also, the whole battery in a rock was more of a metaphor until they actually tested the nodules. They were shocked to find almost a volt of charge on the surface of these nodules. For context, a AA battery is around 1.5 volts. Electric charge on a rock, that is not supposed to happen. And the nodules themselves are super fascinating. They're almost like water fossils. They form around sea debris like a shark's tooth, and when you cut them open, you can see the different layers of metals like tree rings. And these metal layers only grow a few millimeters every million years, with different types of metals being deposited. So there's a potential gradient between each metal layer that is causing this electrical potential. Right now, it's not crystal clear why the nodules produce oxygen, but what we do know is that approximately half of the deep sea megafauna cataloged in the CCZ was found only on nodules. What is clear is that dark oxygen and electric rocks are rewriting textbooks and reminding us for the millionth time there is so much we don't know about our oceans.